Xin chào, welcome to Vietnam. Okay, good luck, plants.
In this episode, I'll be sharing the kinds of challenges that gardeners face growing in Vietnam. As for my aunt, there is no exception. She's having challenges growing on the balcony. I'll show you the things that she's been doing to improve the condition. As for me, I have never grown anything in the tropics before, so I'm going to give it a go too.
I'm so excited that I propagated plants in Vietnam for the very first time. They are the leafy greens that I got at the wet market a few days ago. I'll also be sharing with you the observations that I've seen throughout the different farms that I've visited during my stay in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. There's basically two seasons out here, the dry and the wet season. During the dry season, there is no rain, but it's just really hot. When you see that I'm like looking really dewy and like glowy, it's because I'm sweating. And you can see that's so much stress that can cause to the plants if the plants do not have enough nutrients and enough water in the soil to just keep the root system healthy. During the monsoon season or the heavy raining season, if the soils do not drain well, you can get waterlogged and cause root damage, rotting issues all around. That's why I noticed that like some orchards on the farms, they would plant things above ground and just basically build a mound, and that would improve the drainage. Let's talk about the leafy greens that I planted out a few days ago. I checked out the wet market and got some food to cook and also to see what I can potentially propagate with, just to try out because I've never grown anything in the tropics before. I ended up with these leafy greens that were really tasty, and I saw that there was a little bit of root starting on the nodes, so I soaked them in water. In just a few days, I saw that the roots were starting to grow already. That's when I decided that I should go ahead and plant those out. But with this beating heat, and right now the rainy season just passed, things can get dry up pretty quickly here. In the urban areas in Vietnam, it is really common to be growing in containers because there is no yard space. Right now, I am standing on the 5th floor balcony, and this is where my aunt grows her little garden. She's kind of got frustrated with the plants growing okay, and then they ended up dying, deformities like the leaf curl. You can see the soil's already dried up, and she watered this yesterday. She also has a disability with her leg, so climbing up, 5 sets of stairs every single day is just quite a bit of work for her. That's why I'm really looking forward to introducing her to using Organic REV. This is Organic REV made with 100% organic humic compounds. And it's a naturally occurring carbons and humic and fulvic acids and microbial life. Organic REV is something I've been using in the US for almost a year. The product would help with water retention, also helps the plants to take up nutrients better and faster. You can see, the plants responding sometimes as quick as just in days. Here are some of the potted plants, and right now she's kind of just taking a break from gardening. There's not much growing out here. This is a pretty common type of soil that you would find at the nursery. There's not a whole lot of selections. Nurseries here generally have 2 types of materials. They have soil, which is made with, I believe it's a type of manure. When I visited the farm, they told me the way they make the soil is using cocoa coir, composting that down with cow manure, and then they would add some of the native soil into the mix. So that looked and felt really similar to the soil that she uses here and the soil that is sold at the nurseries. She recently started composting, and it's literally just burying it in place with the food scraps and the kitchen scraps directly in the soil. The soil texture is already changing with her composting in just a few months, and it's just more fluffy. When I did the soil test, the soil with compost and the ones without, the ones with compost is actually holding water longer.
Water retention is so important, especially when it comes to growing seedlings or plants that hasn't established a good amount of root system. The way this farm start their seeds is actually growing in peat moss, which they import from Europe. When the seedlings become more mature, they'll transplant it using regular soil.
So definitely I would encourage her to continue doing that. Also, with adding Organic REV in here, it would help to get the plants to grow healthier root systems and to uptake nutrients from the compost. Another thing that she can do to help retain more moisture in the soil is to mulch. Getting maybe like cocoa coir and just mulch around the top to keep the soil, the moisture in. Now I'm going to apply this on the plants by diluting this. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of this per every gallon of water. 1, 2. Let's just assume this holds 2 gallons of water, and it's okay to use more of the product, but it's just going to be a bit wasteful. Okay, so I'm just gonna do 4 tablespoons in here. It is extremely easy to use the product. You just mix it in water and water it in. You can also put this in a bottle and spray it on the leaves. Let's do this. Okay, good luck, plants. This is the pomegranate. This is her chili pepper. Here are the propagations I did a few days ago. Applying REV would help it build a stronger root system, which is much needed for new plants like these. All right, I'll be sure to get my aunt to update us on the garden. I have been back in the US. Let me show you some updates of the balcony garden. These are what the propagations I did look like in 3 days after applying the REV. There's no transplant shock, and I'm seeing a little bit of the bolting happening, which is quite normal since these are meant to be for food consumption. So I just simply pinched the buds off. Now it has been 3 weeks, and I asked my aunt to give me updates on the balcony. There's some leaf growth in these veggies, but they are actually flowering and going to seed. They should have been pinched back some more so that the plants can concentrate on the energy just on producing leaves rather than the seeds. Pomegranate's got a lot more lush, and these Vietnamese herbs have grown quite a lot that she actually chopped a whole batch of it to eat yesterday, but she forgot to take a picture. I was hoping to see more growth overall, but to my surprise, she was really happy to see that the plants are growing faster than they have ever been. She's on the balcony with a cover on top, so all the plants the growth would be slower being in a part shade area. And she kept asking me, when can I apply more REV? And I said, there's no need for a while. Generally, you just apply that at the beginning of the planting and then during mid-season. Hopefully, I can go back to Vietnam in the near future to help her set up and improve the gardening space. But for now, thank you for joining me, and thank you Organic REV for sponsoring today's episode. For more information about Organic REV, be sure to check that link in the description box below. If you want to see more videos of my US garden, check out the video right there. I'll see you soon. Bye.